Did I do it? Is that it? It's a tube. Hello, I'm Felix, and this is, maybe, hopefully, a video essay. We'll see. I hope so. I'm Felix, and something you do need to know about me, first, right off the bat, is that I'm 60. I'm 60 years old. I will explain that. Stay tuned. That's what the video's gonna be about. But first, I've been thinking about this one Ben Shapiro clip, since it came out years ago, when I wrote this video essay, 5 years ago. 5 years. I'm exaggerating for comedic effect. I wrote this about 2 years ago. Wow, don't I look productive now? Yay! But yeah, I saw this Ben Shapiro clip years ago, and it stuck with me because it's very, very stupid. But so am I. So I think that I should talk about it. I think I'm adequately qualified to talk about it here on youtube.internet.com.gov.ie. That's the Irish one. I'm from Ireland. Hello. Ben Shapiro is an internet conservative debater, I think, even though he mostly debates children. And he does look like a child. He looks about 20, I think, maybe 20.3 or 20.4, if I was going to put a fine point on it. But no, apparently he's actually a 38-year-old boy. A 38-year-old boy man. Now, Sarah Zed, who has actual smart person experience with debating, has made a very good video about his particular debate skills and lack thereof. I'm going to link that below somewhere, so you should go watch that if you want to see a smart person say smart things. But I'm a stupid person, and I'm going to say stupid things, and maybe they'll be funny, and you'll like that. It will make you ha-ha, hee-hee, hoo-hoo. Go watch Sarah Zed's video. It's great. It goes really into depth. I'm not going to do that. I don't have attention span at all, clearly. I'm gonna take one tiny little nugget, I think it's like the condensed Ben Shapiro. It is the Ben. It's the benchiest, Apiro-iest of his arguments, and I'm going to dissect it in a way that I think is funny. And maybe you will agree.
But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should not be accepted because they don't really fit in either place? They can't just
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
Where's that written though?
In the name Boy Scouts. For all of human history, boy meant boy and girl meant girl. Boy did not mean girl.
People are very more dangerous culture.
And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose? Okay, if I redefine our terms. No, yes, that's right. Men and women are a completely different thing. This is true. Have you ever met a man or a woman? They're completely different.
It's a completely different thing. You can't just say you're a cat. It's not a thing. It's genders. It's not saying you're.
Okay, why is that? I don't understand. Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are. Okay, because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So.
I'm 22, so I'm probably young and naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60?
Because
And why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
it's not the same as gender. You can't just.
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
In this clip, Ben makes a comparison between trans people's gender and age. And he argues that you can't magically change your gender in the same way that you can't magically change your age. And in doing so, he makes a grave error, because age and gender are equally socially constructed. Side note on social constructs. An example that a lot of people will use when talking about how gender is a social construct is saying, well, money is a social construct as well. But it's still real, and it still matters to us, and it still makes the difference between living under a bridge and living in a nice fancy house. But I think there's an issue with that logic, because people know that money is constructed. People recognize that. But they don't think about how gender is constructed, because they'll say, well, it's biological. Money's not biological. We don't have biological money. Unless, I don't know, if we use, hermit crabs as money or something. And then you get, 2 hermit crabs, and you put them in a bucket, right? And you put on some crab Marvin Gaye, and you light candles, maybe a bit of incense, some essential oils or something, and you just see if, they'll hit it off. You make a bit more crab money. How it works. That's how the market works. That's how markets go. That's investment. That's what that is. It's a big bucket full of crabs. That's why they call it crab stock. Would crab money, would it be worth more or worth less if the crabs were alive? Do you have to keep them alive? Because that is really an investment. You got to keep feeding the crabs. What do crabs eat? Do crabs eat other crabs? Do they eat, smaller crabs? Because I know a lot of fish will do that. Do crabs, live forever? Because I know lobsters, a lot of sea creatures, it's okay, technically they can live forever unless something kills and eats them, which is what happens most of the time. Most of the time it's us. A crab cake? It's not, it wouldn't be my top 10. Maybe it might make my top 10 cakes. I don't know if it'd be my top 5. Are crabs murderers? Are crabs eating other crabs? Cannibal crabs? I feel like I'd feel a lot better about using them as sentient currency if they were murder crabs. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay, so money. It's biological money, not a thing. We don't use it. Not even biological murder crabs. Money is a social construct, but it's obviously constructed, whereas time and gender, people don't even think about how those are constructed. It's become invisible to us. But Felix, I hear you screaming at your screen. I can't hear you, actually. That's not how this works, but I love the enthusiasm. Do keep it up, ring the bell, all of that, please. Felix, you're saying time and age are distinct measurable things, whereas gender is a completely subjective experience that changes from person to person. And you're right about gender, but time is also super duper fake. And I'm not saying that because I have ADHD and I woke up at 3 p.m. today. But I did also wake up at 3 p.m. today. In Ireland. We currently live in the year 2022 because the Earth has rotated around the Sun approximately 2,022 times since the birth of a guy. And we don't know that he was actually born on that day. We don't know when he was born. He was born in a census year, sure, but he was born in a barn. Did Herod want to know how many fucking donkeys he had, too? Were they counting all the eggs? Because all the eggs, it was a pro-life thing. Why would anyone keep records of a baby who wouldn't become important for at least another 33 years? Basically, the fact that it's 2022 at all is super cultural, super arbitrary. It's not the year 2022 in Japan. It's not the year 2022 in China. Time is fake. Time is fake. It's not even New Year's at the same time in China. And you think oh, well, why do they start their year late? Why do we start our year early? Why do we do anything? What is anything? We made it up! How did the Romans measure time? Were they, getting their Roman passports, Next. Hail, patrician. Hail, citizen. What's your date of birth? 3rd of March, 200 BC. What's BC? What does that mean? Oh, it means before Christ. And what's that? Oh, it's this dude who's gonna be kind of important in like 233 years. But you know what? You don't really need to worry about all of that. Also, I'm definitely not a time traveling witch from the future. What? Listen, can I just have my passport? Oh no, we also don't have those. This is ancient fucking Rome. Wait a second, ancient? I mean, um, mm, oh, I'm also a time traveling witch. Is that a Casio? Yes, it's how I do my time travel. Oh, oh, you. We should get coffee. Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should hang out. Also, we didn't even start calling it the year Anno Domini until, like, 525 AD. So that's almost 500 years after the guy who it's named after died, and it took that long for Christianity to, like, take off. So arbitrary! It's incredibly arbitrary! So yeah, time is fake. But by now you're probably thinking, Felix, your body has existed for a finite amount of time. You have aged, and this can be measured. That's real. To which I say, good, now we're looking at things that we can actually measure. Like, if you were to chop me in half and count the rings, that would be, there would be 26 of them. But also, I would say, you have chopped me in half. And now I can't finish the video essay, and also, I'm dead! Oh no! I don't know if I would have that long to say all those things, but maybe. And as I said before, numbers are also fake and made up. I was born on the 28th of December 1995, which means I've rotated around the sun about 26 and a half times. A little over that, maybe. It also makes me a Capricorn. Which is another social construct, another very obvious one. Ben Shapiro is also a Capricorn. Hey, Ben! Hey, Ben! Maybe maybe you and I are not so different, eh? And time is relative, you know? To some of you watching this, when I say that I'm 26 and that I was born in 1995, you start thinking, oh no, I was going to raise in 1995, and now there's this man who is a baby, who's a man. But for me, to my 17-year-old sister, I'm basically already dead also. So that's fun. But I told you at the start of this video that I'm 60, not 26. And that's true, and I intend to prove it, mathematically. Hence the whiteboard. And because I'm arguing with a conservative, I'm going to use an argumentative style that they have perfected. I'm going to come to a conclusion, and then I'm going to find and or misread some data to retroactively prove me correct. So obviously my first problem is that it takes too dang long for the Earth to rotate around the sun. That's my first problem. I'm always saying that. I'm always saying it takes too dang long for the Earth to rotate around the sun. It's very inconvenient for me and for my argument. It doesn't help me be 60. And I know from school that Earth is one of 9 or now 8, because the liberal woke mob cancelled Pluto for being too small. They don't respect a short king. There are 8 planets in the solar system that rotate around our sun, the one that we're closest to. And there are 2 that are closer to the sun than the Earth is. And they are Mercury and Venus. I actually found this website called Your Age on Other Worlds. I'm going to link it below, because it's cool. You put your date of birth in it, and then it tells you how old you'd be on, like, Jupiter and Pluto. I don't know if Pluto is included. Again, Pluto, cancelled by the woke mob, can't respect a short king. So I put my age into it. I went with the first option. I was like, okay, what age would I be on Venus? Because that's the next closest to the sun after Earth, right? So I put it in. Let me write Venus. Venus. I would be 43 on Venus. That's cool. 43. Yeah. I mean, I could see it for me. I could see it for me. Like, I've got this receding hairline and a bit of funky chest hair. Yeah, I could get into being in my 40s. I'd be there for that, but it's not about what I want. It's about what is the truth. It's about what is the truth, and I've told you that I'm 60, and that is true. I wouldn't lie to you about something like that. What do you take me for? No, so I look at Mercury then. Mercury is the smallest planet. It zooms on around the sun. So I was looking at Mercury. I'm going to write down Mercury. Mercury. I had another problem. Because 1 year on Mercury is 88 days. Which means I've overshot 60 by a lot, by almost double. I'm 110 on Mercury. I'm really old on Mercury, or, I'm the same age on Mercury, I guess. I guess for a Mercurian, I'm having my quarter life crisis, more or less. I don't know if the air is very breathable on Mercury. I probably wouldn't actually live, to be 110. On Mercury, not without a lot of help. It's also very hot. But I am 60, and I'm going to prove that to you. And I'm going to prove it to you to own our good friend and definite good faith actor, Mr. Benjamin Reno. And so we have to keep going. We have to keep digging and figure this out, because I'm definitely 60, and I have not lied to you. I would know if I was lying. And I would know if I was wrong. So I started thinking of other ways that we measure age, like dog years. That's a dog. I guess. Kind of look like a sheep a little bit. Let me give it a little nose. There we go. I could probably do better if it wasn't on a whiteboard, but having fun. Dog years. Funny story, actually. My ex-boyfriend turned 21 on the same day that my dog turned 3. And so they kind of turned 21 on the same day, which was weird. And it meant that my dog could drink in America. And if my boyfriend had been into puppy play, I could have walked them both in the park together. Dog years, unlike Mercurian or Venusian years, are not based around rotations around the sun, but life expectancy. This is already kind of sketchy when it comes to dogs, because everyone knows dogs don't actually die. They go to a farm where there's lots of space and they can play around with other dogs. So it's honestly pretty suspect that we measure dog years differently at all. The idea is that 1 human year is 7 dog years, because humans live about 7 times longer than dogs. I'm now going to apply this logic to types of humans. In Ireland, where I'm from and where I'm filming this and where I live, the average life expectancy of a woman is about 84. So I'm going to write that down. Woman, 84. However, the average life expectancy of a man in Ireland is about 80. About 80. Yeah, so there's a disparity there. 84. And I did the maths and I wrote them in the script, so I'm just going to pretend that I'm doing the maths. I'm not going to work it out on the board. I'm not very... I'm not fucked to do that, but I did do the numbers. I think probably right. But yeah, so it means that 1 man year is about 0.95 woman years, and because there are more women than men, 1 year should be a woman year. We talk about the gender wage gap. We never talk about the gender age gap, unless we're talking about Leo DiCaprio. So 0.95 man years. So if we assume that I've been measuring my age in woman years, because there are more women than men, the average person in the world is a woman, then my age goes from 26 to 27.3. Look, I'm already older. Yay! Because I'm a man. Look at that. That's a whole year and a bit. Year and 3 months? No, I don't know, year and 4 months. That's a bit. That's a chunk. Now let's, oh, hold on. I should have it somewhere. Let's keep it on me. Oh, yeah. My gay card. Well, I mean, I'm bisexual, so, that means that I am a queer man, and that affects my life expectancy. So I found this study that looked at life expectancy for gay and bisexual men that found that 50% of men who identified as gay or bi at 20 did not live past 65. And I don't know how to account for the other 50% because presumably they did or will eventually die, or 50% of all bi and gay men live forever, and those bitches have been hiding their secrets from us. I must also assume that not living past 65 means that some of the first 50% died young. So I'm going to think like a conservative and ignore the 50% altogether and say that the life expectancy of a queer man is 65. 65 is about 81% of 80, our previously established man life expectancy, this one here. And I'm 27.3 in man years, so that makes me 32.49 in queer man years. We're going to round down to 32. Ooh, look at that! That's also older. I'm over halfway to 60. That's great. That's great. I'm kind of running out of ways that I can be older. Ways that I can lower my life expectancy. Oh, it's you just activated my trump card. I am genuinely a little conflicted about that joke because it's been argued that the trap is a slur, specifically against trans women. And I'm not a trans woman, I'm a trans man. And people will use it against trans women. People will use it as an excuse to, like, murder them because they believe that trans women are tricking straight men into having gay sex, which is not what they're doing. However, I had retroactively gay sex with my first boyfriend in secondary school, so that is what I did. So I think I should be able to reclaim it just this once. I'll be very good. Anyway, everyone knows that trans people don't tend to live as long as cis people, so I started looking into data on this, and I found the wildest thing. It turns out that when trans people are allowed to transition and are accepted by their family and community, well, our life expectancies tend to actually average out. Which is terrible, because that means that I can't be 60, and I'm loved and accepted, and that means that I'm not 60. At least not any faster than a 26-year-old. It's going to take me like 34 years together. But again, I'm thinking like a conservative, so I'm going to ignore the data, and I'm going to go with common sense, which Ben Shapiro is a big fan of. The common sense that I've heard around is that trans people have a life expectancy of 35. I've heard it around, and that means that it's common sense and true, even though that seems to be more connected to trans women, particularly trans women of colour, and largely because they're cut off from any forms of employment that do not pertain to sex work, and sex work is criminalised in most of the world, and decriminalise sex work. Decriminalise it. Is what I'm saying, and protect trans women. But yeah, common sense. My life expectancy is 35. 35 is about 43% of the average life expectancy, which is 82. That's the average between men and women, because there's no distinction. So we got 32, which is from here. 32 multiplied by, what's that? 48.3 over 100 equals 74. We've overshot it again. I guess that means I'm not 60. I never was. And I've lied to all of you nice people. You trusted me. I told you I was 60. I was going to prove it to you, and I tried really hard to do it. I did my best. I guess there are limits to leftist propaganda. There are limits to number massaging and cherry-picking statistics, and maybe Ben's right. Maybe imagining a better world at all as a leftist is futile, because there are things some of us just can't change. What am I saying? Of course I can be 60. I just need to believe. I became a man, didn't I? I can do whatever I set my mind to. It has to be here. It has to be somewhere in the numbers. It's definitely here. I believe it. I know it. I know it in my heart. Come on, Felix. Think like a conservative. Channel your inner Ben Shapiro. We're both Capricorns. You've got so much in common. Come on. This one. This is my queer age. But I'm trans. That already makes me queer. And that looks like affirmative action to me. No, we're getting rid of all this. We're just using the man age and the trans age. We use those, so that changes this to 27.4. 27.4. And that changes this to 61. And then we're going to round down to 60, and that's it. I'm 60. I've always been 60. I said this from the start. You believe me. You've believed me, didn't you? I've said it all along. I'm 60, and I've proved it mathematically. I've been 60 this whole time. You believe me, don't you, Ben? We did this together. We've done it. We've done it. You helped me prove that I'm 60. Thank you. But you know, Ben, something's been bothering me this whole time. Something in your argument in that video. It's right back at the start. It's you make a point about the Boy Scouts and about that common sense that you love so much, and something's just been playing in the back of my head that just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe I'll put it in terms that I think that you'll understand a little better.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that I'm a man. I have XY chromosomes, I have a penis, I have testes. These are the things that make me a man. And as we all know, men are from Mars. Men are from Mars, and women are from Venus. That's just common sense. We all know this to be true. And you, Mr. Shapiro, you were born on the 15th of January, 1984. Is that correct? Yes. And being a man, it is safe to assume that you were born on this date on Mars before being transported to Earth, as is tradition. So despite living here on Earth for most of your life, you were assigned Martian of birth. Is that correct, sir? So that would make you 20.4 years old. Those are the facts, Mr. Shapiro. You cannot change the planet of your birth, despite however much you might identify with Earth culture or its time measurement systems. It simply doesn't make any sense. And yet you insist, Mr. Shapiro, on calling yourself a 38-year-old man. This is dishonest. You can't magically change your age. You can't magically change your birthplace. You can't magically change where you were from. So please stop calling yourself 38 when you were obviously only 20.4. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Oh, well, that was certainly something. Thank you so much for sticking around, for watching the video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you're here from The Liberal Cook, I'm actually recording this before their video comes out, but I'm going to feature in their next video. So I presume that there'll be some traffic coming back here once this is up, if I get it out beforehand, or if I get it out afterwards. We shall see. if you don't know who The Liberal Cook is, they're this amazing channel. They do video essays that are much more ambitious than this and much more technically accomplished. And there's some cool friends of mine. They make funny, silly jokes like this. Neil had a look at the script before I made this and was like, make the video. And so that's part of why this has happened. Go follow The Liberal Cook. I'm going to link them below. Follow me, subscribe to the channel, give me a like, leave a nice comment about how good I am at maths. And if you have anything to say about how my numbers are wrong, that's actually very disrespectful to my culture. And so keep your dang mouth shut about that. I don't know why I decided my first video should have maths involved, because that's very off-brand for me. I'm not really a maths boy. But I thought it'd be funny to try and mathematically prove that I was 60. And I kind of did. You can follow me on social media. I am... Thank you so much for sticking around, enduring my bullshit. And yeah, keep an eye on the channel, and I'm going to be getting more stuff out, hopefully. More similar nonsense. So, thanks so much. As a trans guy in a YouTube video, I do